Tell me the story quickly about it's 9/11. It's one of the worst time moments in U.S. history.
Yeah.
And you had to go back to.
Well, I'd flown up on 9/10 to do second unit on the second episode, the one that Dan Lauria, the football episode.
Right, yep.
And so the next morning, all hell broke loose. The world completely turned upside down. So I was there, and all day I was waiting to be called to the set. Finally got called to the set, and they came to the door of my dressing room and said, "We're not going to get to you, sorry." And I burst into tears. Another thing that when they say on the page, she bursts into tears. I'd never really known how to do that until that day, when I burst into tears in front of the poor Sarah, the PA.
I remember Sarah,
with the blonde hair.
Yeah.
It's very sweet. So I burst into tears, and then it didn't look like they were going to get to it anytime soon. So I called the office, Bob, guy, and said I would like to go home because I was away from my family, and I thought, well, they're going to hit LA. If they're going to hit LA, I want to be home.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get home. And I said, if you're not going to need me, I'm going home. There are no flights. So I took the car that I had been renting and I drove home. And I stopped in Reading. That was my only stop. And I got home. They called and they said, we need you tomorrow. I said, you told me I could go home. I was like weeping. I said, why? And then they said, well, if you're not here, we're going to, that kind of stuff. They started getting really nasty about it. And so I said, well, I can't get there tomorrow because I can't get a plane unless you want to charter a flight for me. So I was so mad. So Michael said, I'm coming with you. So I turned around the next morning we left.
And drove.
Drove all the way back. So somewhere between Portland and Seattle, I got this weird melody in my head. Da 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 da, and it kept going over and over and over in my head. Finally I said, Michael, am I making this up, or is this a song, an old song he said, oh, I've never heard you're making that up. He said, let's put lyrics to it. So we just said, potatoes in the paddy wagon. Da, da, da. I said, oh, okay, but potato has to be a girl. It can't be just potatoes. Oh, okay. And we wrote the whole song.
In the car, on the drive.
In the car. And we had nothing to write
Thinking nothing's going to happen with this.
Yeah, nothing's going to happen. So we get there and we finish the song. In fact, I think I went to work the next morning and he finished filling it all in. And he must have brought his guitar. He brought his guitar because he had his guitar. So he was fooling around with it, figuring it out. And he said, I think Chris might like this for A Mighty Wind.
Chris Guest.
Because they were in the process of writing all the songs for the movie. So we wrote that, and then I can't remember the timeline. But anyway, Chris asked Michael to write, if he wanted to write this signature song for Mitch and Mickey. And he said, the only thing, it has to have a kiss in it. There's a kiss, whether they're going to kiss or not.
At the end of the rainbow.
And so Michael said to me, do you want to write this song with me? I have a title already. A Kiss at the End of the Rainbow. And I said, yeah. So I drank 2 glasses of wine that night.
Whoa,
he drank,
messy.
he smoked his friend. And we sat down and we wrote it. We mostly wrote the song. And then we took Jimmy, our beloved dog Jimmy, out for a walk and finished writing the song. And then I took it to Chris, sang it for Chris, and he said, "Oh, it's beautiful, but it's a real song. It's not." He didn't think it was going to be funny enough. So we went home and wrote another song called "Closer Than Tomorrow," which is another wonderful song. But Jamie Lee Curtis happened to be there when we sang it. She said, "Oh no, that's the song. It should be a wonderful song. It shouldn't be funny. It should be a real love song." And we love that song because it's just about us. It's about our story and just kind of how we feel about one another. And and we were nominated for an Academy Award for it, which was really,
come on,
really crazy.
Come on,
because of all that, and that score should have been nominated. Every song, Chris wanted every song to be a different type of folk song,
right?
And that's what they did. They and Eugene and Catherine wrote stuff, and C.J. Vanston, who's the Spinal Tap guy and who does all their music for all their movies, and traveled with them in Unwigged Unplugged. Oh. He wrote a sea shanty and didn't have lyrics, so Michael and I wrote the lyrics for that.
Jesus!
So I had 3 songs represented. In the movie.
Songs, and you had never written a song before, really.
I'd written stuff for the kids, just stupid little stuff. Yeah.